Hello, how is everyone on this fall day? Today is actually 9/11, so it's a day of remembrance. It's the 23rd anniversary of the 4 attacks on our country. But it's a day we will always remember, and so I wanted to start the show out with that. Anyway, my name is Sharon Watson Hamilton, and I'm here at the AAUW Conversation and Connection. And that is a way for the American Association of University Women to connect with the community through interviews with interesting people, our members, and get to know each other a little better. We are sort of known in Auburn community for our Trivia Bee. That's been going on a number of years, and that's our major fundraiser for scholarships. Scholarships are it's one of our main focuses for high school reentry, for our Tech Trek girls and the STEM program. So we advocate for equality on all those issues for young women and girls. Membership is open to everyone with a 2-year degree or better, and I think we might be opening it up even wider than that. Years ago when it started, having a 4-year university degree was the starting point of, and we just finished our 75th anniversary as an organization, so that was fun. Anyway, men, we have a few men that are members, and so we're a very diverse group, or we like to think we are, and we want to promote good education for all. So anyway, I like to connect a conversation. And the next 2 shows, this show and next month, I'm going to be talking in some variation about the elections coming up. This is the year of a presidential election. It's pretty important. And so the connection here, you'll find out, AAUW, we often volunteer and work a polling station. We also distribute the registration cards throughout Placer County all year. So we're involved in the process of elections on that level. And so with that, I have a wonderful guest today. Natalie, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Natalie Zapata, and you are primarily known as the Hip Hop Congress girl. Is that right?
Pretty much. It's become my life.
Okay, I love it. So, and we will get to a even further connection in a minute. But let's hear your story. Where are you, and how did you get there?
Interesting question. So I'm an Auburn native. I grew up here. I have never lived anywhere else.
Lovely.
Yeah, so might be no time to break out. No, so I grew up here as a very creative child, kind of paving my own way. Definitely some ADHD involved with that. But hey, you know what? Yeah. Don't let anyone tell you that's not a superpower.
Oh, it's a superpower.
It definitely is. And watch, now I know where I am.
I think my OCD is a superpower too. So, we're going to go for it.
So I just kind of, been very creative in finding my way. And I started working with young people when I was a young person myself, and then realized I really liked working with teenagers. Because they're starting to think on their own.
You are brave.
Yeah. So I worked at Placer County Peer Corps and just did an array of different things. And through my work at Peer Corps, I found Hip Hop Congress. I was researching hip hop and curriculum and how, that connects young people. And I liked kind of underground conscious hip hop at the time.
Ooh, you're telling a lot about yourself now.
So, I found Hip Hop Congress in Sacramento and started doing a lot of work with them. It was probably around 2007.
Okay.
And in 2009, myself and my husband kind of had a talk, like, should we were taking cars full of people to Sacramento to volunteer at events, and we're like, should we start one
Yeah.
in Auburn? And I kind of knew it would change my life, honestly, and it did.
Okay.
So in 2009 at the Beach Hut Deli, we had a What is Hip Hop Forum, because we're in Auburn.
Right.
People
Right.
could be afraid of, something new and different. And we had dancers and poets, and I think like 70 people showed up
How
to the
fun
Beach
is
Hut
that?
Deli.
And that's not that long ago. 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feels
wow.
like
Wow.
forever.
Wow. Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah, and then we just started, I was working from my kitchen table and complaining. And for me, so a lot of my complaints like make things happen sometimes. So people are like, you need to say those positive affirmations. But I was complaining. I was like, I don't want to spill my cereal milk on my work. I need an office. And Auburn literally opened up to us. And now we have an office in the beautiful General Gomez Arts and Events Center.
You do.
And, the community has just really embraced us. And yeah, so I guess
Wonderful.
that's kind of what brought me. And of course, there's a million stories in between.
Right.
But yeah, that's what brought
And
me
that's where
to
you're
where I
at now.
am
Do you
today.
have children?
I do. I have children and grandchildren.
Oh, no.
So,
Now she's telling way too much.
yeah, I can't tell the age of the older one, Vanessa, and then I have a 21-year-old McKenna, so brand new baby, and a 5-year-old grandson.
Oh,
And
honey, that's great.
yeah, that's the reward for being a good
Right.
parent.
I thought
I
maybe
love
her answer was going to be, yes, I have 1 million of them, because you touch young people's lives a lot.
Oh,
So
thank you.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
mine are super special.
Yeah,
too.
super special. Yeah, well, as they should be, right? So that's just an interesting and creative story, like you said. That's just so fun. And the Gomez Center, now it makes sense that you knew Phil, our videographer, a little bit, because he works out of there quite often. So now we're going to talk a little bit about this Hip Hop Congress, because I'm new to it in terms of probably a year ago, somebody said, well, I'm going to go down to the fundraiser for Hip Hop Congress. And I go, well, what's that? So my question to you is, what's that?
So Hip Hop Congress is a national/international nonprofit. We have chapters really all across the globe.
Okay.
They've been in operation since about 1996.
Okay.
And and so we were working with the Sacramento chapter, and then started our own Auburn chapter, and have really been kind of a model of what you can do in your community under this
So is it mostly
umbrella.
for young people? Is it?
It can be. It's really whatever. So hip hop is a culture, and a lot of people don't know it's very artistic. And there's breakdance and graffiti and MCing, DJing. Those are 4 of the elements of hip hop.
Okay.
The 5th one is knowledge. And
Okay, wait a minute. Let's go over those again.
Okay.
Those are interesting. So we got breakdancing.
Mhm.
Knowledge, of course, was the last one. Breakdancing,
DJing,
DJing,
graffiti art,
Oh, that's great. Okay.
and MCing. So that's
MCing.
the rapper.
Yeah, yeah,
ceremonies. Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I'm going to tell my age. Those are like, So anybody interested? So there's not an age limit involved, or is there?
So we do primarily work with what they call transition age youth, so like 16 to 25-year-olds, but then they grow up too, and
Right.
we're still a family,
Yeah,
and
okay.
and we also do work with younger kids. So every year we host the Growing Peace Camp,
Okay.
and that's for 4-year-olds all the way up to 18.
Oh, how fun!
And so we really are just for the community, but I do work with young leaders.
Yeah.
That's something that's really
That's- yeah.
inspiring and rewarding to
Right,
me.
and so we'll get
Yeah.
young leaders are our future. So,
Yeah.
but so is the creative arts. I mean, I love all those. The graffiti art. Just have you been down? Okay, I digress now. Gee, the ARD building where they're doing the spray paint art. Have you seen that?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh goodness
Yeah.
gracious! You have to go see it.
Fantastic.
It is. It is a whole wall of the
Oh, wait,
gym.
is it Oscar?
I don't know. Is it?
I may know the artist. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I do.
And he's doing spray
Shout out
painting.
to
It's all
Oscar.
spray painted. I didn't know that. And it's this huge mural. I hope they continue.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing one wall, and in my mind, I was thinking, oh, they've got to go all around the building. I don't know. Anyway, beautiful. So
back in the day when we first got to the General Gomez Arts and Events Center, it was Placer Arts at the time.
Right.
And we did a graffiti art show where they did murals on all the walls and the pedestals. It was just a beautiful experience. So we work with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And they come out and teach young people. That's kind of the structure. So the different rappers or DJs or dancers or graffiti artists, they come out and they do workshops. We work in the juvenile hall, so they do workshops in the juvenile hall. They do workshops with the young leaders outside of juvenile hall. We go to schools and do programs.
The juvenile hall folks, they must love that. It really speaks their language, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it's not like a 7-year-old gal coming in there going, go vote. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're just exciting. I think that's exciting.
Thank you.
So, going again back into hip hop Congress mode, how do people volunteer to work with you? Is it a volunteer? Is it paid? How do we know about you?
So I've worked very hard and learned how to fundraise and learned how, grassroots organizing and nonprofit management looks like. And so I've made it my job. And also we value the artists around us. So I do a lot of grant writing. There are volunteer areas, and also young people often do their community service hours with us.
Okay.
So we host the Earth Day Festival, Martin Luther King event, and so young people can come either for high school or probation and do.
Oh, I love it! I
service
do love
it.
We all need to be loved and embraced, and that's cool. So now, how can I get involved in it? Do I just say, "Hey, Natalie, put me in a job"? What can I do to help?
Do you want to moderate at our upcoming?
I would. I would
That's
love
what
that.
I would actually say.
I would love to do that. When is it? What do I have to do?
Should we wait till the
Yeah, we shouldn't do it to it now. But I'm serious.
What I like to do is leverage people's skills, and I'm learning how to do this. A lot of people say when you're really busy, delegate.
Yeah.
Well, that's a dirty word to me.
It is.
Because it's like, what if they don't do it? Now I have to do double
Or by the
work.
time you've explained something, you could have done it. I'm sorry. I'm with you on that.
Distributing leadership is I'm shifting my mind and really looking at people's skills and what they just want to do.
Yeah.
That's another ADHD trick. You know, what is it that you just want to do and you're just going to do it? Like if I'm super busy and you ask me to make a flyer, I will stop everything and make
the flyer. Yeah.
So that's what you've got to find in people. And so when I have volunteers, it's strange because it's like, well, what do you bring to the table? What moves you? And is that a good fit? Right. And so that's kind of what that looks like. But we also have events and ways to kind of easily get involved too.
I would like to, just me personally now, I haven't seen a lot of advertising. Am I not looking in the right places? Do you need help on that?
Volunteers. I try to get the word out to the Auburn Journal, and I know
sometimes
maybe they have a short staffing, but I mean, there's so many opportunities coming up. I hope they kind of pick up on that. Yeah. I do a lot of Facebook marketing. Okay. Not everybody's on Facebook, right? And definitely not the younger people. And so we're starting to work with our young interns and our young leaders and kind of give them some education around social media marketing. So like if they want to attend a class, we'll pay for that, and then kind of learn how to do that a little better. But we are word of mouth, and so for Peace Camp, for example, Peace Camp, before COVID, we had 170 kids, and I was so concerned. And I literally, the first years leading up to that, I would very lightly market because we would just tell the families who had already attended, and we have this high retention. So word of mouth has really been huge, but we do need to get better. I do have the kids posting flyers right now too. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So.
But it's
we're a secret gym.
No, you're not a secret gym. We're not going to have you there anymore. We're going to get you out there. because I felt that way when I first heard about you, that you were a secret gem. That isn't to say that I read the paper, I walk into the bank, so I'm just antiquated. But I would love to have a little more advertising about what you do, who you are. I think the community needs that love that you're giving young people, and that they can still be involved in it. I think that's pretty special. I do. So, so one of the things, going back to elections and your involvement and in this little show, before I get to, I want to talk more about your passion getting young people involved, and but I will do a quick disclaimer. It's a fun election year. It's contentious, and I want you to know that AAUW and Hip Hop Congress are non-biased, non-judgmental, we don't take sides. If you see or hear me make an opinion, that you have to know it's my opinion, not my organization. So, and I believe that's true as well for you. Is that accurate, Natalie? Okay.
Yes, and I try my best to be non-biased and nonpartisan as Natalie as well.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for mentioning that, because it's important.
And I am of the persuasion that this country can only heal if we have two sides to an issue, and we hear and respect both sides. And certainly I also understand being biased, because if you believe something, you want everybody to believe it. At least I do. Anyway, so I understand both sides of that coin, but please love each other. I guess I'll leave it with that. So anyway, yay. Now we're down to the real reason I wanted. Somebody said, well, do a show on how to motivate young people to get involved in civic affairs, especially in this important year. And I reflected back a little bit on myself, and I thought it was so much easier and harder in my age group. I remember JFK's assassination. I knew when Johnson wasn't going to come up for re-election. There were a lot of Vietnam War kind of molded me in a lot of ways. So I kind of grew up, I won't say involved, but at least aware. And then I had what I call my dark period of life, where I didn't engage much except in bad things. But anyway, and then I came out of that, and I read the paper. I watched both sides of TV. I just so I got rejuvenated. But I don't know how to encourage children, young folks. Let's call them young folks, in that element. So that's your job,
and I feel like it's a big job. It's a big job because of the way our political system is set up, the way our political education is given. And I don't know, I'm not in the classroom today. I'm not in a government class, but I think we need to make things relevant. And quite frankly, maybe this is just a Natalie opinion, the two-party system is a problem, and I think young people see that. They're like, and I'm not saying like I do third party, I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm saying like when you have some debates a little while back, and you're telling me that's the best we have in our whole country, like the young people see that. They're not dumb, they're aware, they have things they care about, and when they're presented with this black or white, these are your choices, and not a panel of, there's thought leaders, there are intelligent people. Right. And I'm not saying that people aren't, but I'm also saying it's not inspiring, and it's easy to say, count me out.
Yeah, I can see that. I think many of us are feeling that way now, today. And because our choices are, we do kind of look at, really, these are the final two kind of things. So, so I get that, but I still want young people to passionately
Yes.
get involved, learn about the two. Maybe you don't like both, but be aware that there are other things. There's congressmen, there's senators, there's policies, there's so much more. And what does a no vote mean? If you do not vote, what does that mean? What does that mean to the equation? I have trouble with that one, so I'll be the first to admit. Sometimes people say, well, if you don't vote, it's a vote for this. Well, I go, well, what if I was going to vote for him? It'd be the vote for them. So I get mixed up on that. But
people shouldn't vote shame either.
I know. I think that too. But I do.
They do that to the young people too. That's another thing. When they start coming up with their ideas and sharing them, there's a lot of vote shaming as well. But I do have a bright side of this.
Okay.
I do feel like I've kind of on my own journey, and I'll tell you what, I was older. I'm not saying how old I am, but I was older when I actually learned how to vote. Now, I've voted. And I can't say that I didn't go down a party line. I can't say that I had no idea who or what I was voting for. Do I like this name better? I didn't understand it. And it was through a mentor of mine that I learned so much. So shout out to Leslie Janus, and unfortunately, she
I know Leslie. Yeah, she passed last year.
Yeah, so she's been just such a strong mentor of mine and a voting buddy, and I swear she taught me how to vote. And
by that, you're not saying how you should pick something, but how to look at things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I would go have, logs, bagels, and tea with her, and we would, talk about it. And we didn't always agree. But, I mean, we aligned fairly good, fairly well, but she would talk about it. She would talk about in a really unbiased way, and then invited me to this little party where we talked about the props, and it was so eye-opening, and it connected me to the ballot. I understood more what I was looking at, and so because of that, a voter buddy that you trust too, because we get busy and sometimes we can't do all of the research. So a voter buddy, I would some years just say, Leslie, tell me what you're doing, and then I'll look at it.
Right.
She has no idea how influential she was because my family asked me, and
that's a perfect way to, we do learn through others, and Leslie would have been I can see that.
So we're going to do that with young people. Yeah. So that's where the events kind of.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, not bad. So I happen to come from farm country in Illinois. So farm country in Illinois is rather conservative. However, my mother was a very generous and wonderful person who was not that conservative. She voted that way for the very reason you just said, party line. So I came out of it and went to college, and I just couldn't go down that path. But I still carry a lot of fiscal values. I don't dismiss that at all. But I think some of the criticism may come that our education institutions don't always give a balanced version of things. Is that a kind way to put it? And that's a criticism, because I think that we should all be. I think I was lucky to be raised in a more conservative kind of. Not that we were that involved. I kind of learned that on my own later, but I think you are aware of both sides more. Did I embrace some of my things to change my mind or form my mind? Certainly. But I don't know. It's so different. Where do kids get their info? Where do we get our information? All of us.
They're getting it from TikTok.
They're getting it from TikTok.
I would
Okay.
tell any politicians to get on there because I had young people asking me about Marianne Williamson. What do you think about Marianne Williamson? And how do you know about her? Oh, well, she's on TikTok, and she really made a point to connect to young people that way. She would go on. And again, not an endorsement, but I'm just saying, like, TikTok.
TikTok is I don't know anything about TikTok, and I'm not on Facebook, and I barely can use my phone. So Phil, are you laughing at me again? Anyway, but I did watch TV last night, and it's telling it, and an endorsement came out from Taylor Swift. I think we can say that, and it was well put, and it basically said, go out and read, find out for yourselves different things, and then vote. That was her basic message. That's how I interpreted it. Is you've got to get the information, and in it seems easy, but we're inundated with so much information and so much misinformation, and it's oftentimes, for me or anybody, very difficult. So to go to TikTok is kind of frightening, I think.
Well, yeah, because you don't know. I mean, I think it's good, and it could be used in any way, but it's because they're not getting those. They're not hearing those voices otherwise. I think. And you know, in the classrooms, I'm not in the government classes, so I can't speak to that. But I feel like people would be a lot more passionate if they were doing it right. I have taught government to a small group of high school students, and you know, if they're not getting excited, I feel like you're not telling them the whole story. It's fascinating. There's still things I need to learn. So, you know, I just think connecting young people.
So basically, young people are really using social media as their source of information. They do that for school and everything, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. And so that's a slippery slope. If I was a young person, I'd just kind of buy in hook, line, and sinker what I want to buy into. I think. And then there's AI. Oh, goodness. There's some things out there, and to me, it's obviously AI, but it might not be to everybody. So I kind of find that more frightening than helpful, but I'm hoping that it will be more helpful in the future. I know the government, talking about government, is kind of worried about it, for sure. And so does that mean they want to manipulate it, and so we'd only hear that side? Or does that mean they're truly worried because we might be getting misinformed and they're misrepresented? Again, I'll bring Taylor Swift. She had I think it was on TikTok, or it was an AI something of her not saying what she wanted to say, and she mentions that in her little advertisement, if you will, from yesterday. So again, so frightening. So our officials don't quite know what to do with that either. Exciting times, and the future is in these young hands, and so I hope we can encourage and you have programs. Before, you know, we're getting down to our time, and I love your passion about young people. I think I do not have children. Another disclaimer. So I get to love everybody, and this is my thing. Anyway, but tell me before we leave, what's coming up? What events are coming up for hip hop? We've got 54 days or something like that to help navigate through these election waters. So what's coming up?
Okay, so I'm going to try to say them all as fast as I can.
You don't have to be fast. We'll be okay.
So the first thing we have coming up on September 18th and September 23rd it's a young voter education series. And so this is for 17 to 25-year-olds. Again, it's to connect them to their ballots. And so I attended with the League of Women Voters this thing where you like speed date, meet the candidates.
Oh.
I loved it. And of course me, I'm going to ask all hard questions.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, I really want to get to know like their vibes. And it was fun. It was eye-opening, and it connected me to the ballot. So I want young people to have that opportunity.
And where are these going to be?
So these will be at the Mount Vernon
Both are at the Grange?
Hall.
Okay.
One of them will be more your city council and supervisors. One will be more school board focused.
Oh, okay, good.
And there's like, if you tell a friend, there's a raffle for great prizes.
Raffle for great prizes.
Amazon gift cards and gas gift cards.
Serve food or give a raffle. You got them coming.
Yeah, so I hope so. We have about 48 spots for young people to join.
And that's a spot to move around, right? To move.
Yeah, and they'll just
dancing tables.
Move,
we'll call it
move around.
Yeah.
And then we have a props discussion event that will actually be at the Gomez, the General Gomez, on October 21st.
Okay.
And I think I will have someone from League of Women Voters just discuss the props. And so again, we're connecting to that ballot.
Yeah.
It's not just. You know, and then they'll have opinions and they'll care, and then they get to vote on it.
And League of Women Voters is a good resource. They do a lot of research into these. Yeah,
I want to be
and AAUW is doing a couple of those kinds of events coming up too for our meetings. Yeah.
And then so there's two more.
Two more. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
What do we have? What do we have? Hold on. Sorry. Oh, this one. Okay. The Be the Change talent show, which we've done before. This is actually a project Leslie and I worked on for a couple of years. But the Be the Change talent show is where young people, again, 16 to 25, bring their talents to the stage. And this could be visual arts. This could be music, dance. We've had theater. Around a cause that's close to their heart. It can be anything, and there's a $500 cash prize.
Oh, it's a contest.
Yeah, so then again, we're getting young people talk, and people can register to
and when
at
is
that event.
And when is that?
That is October 25th at the General Gomez.
Okay.
And then the last one we have, just because I'm definitely a critic of our systems, and so the education system we've been looking at and you know where the gaps are. But I feel like in order to be a critic that makes change happens, you have to leverage what's working. And so we have an event called the Give Thanks Awards event, and that just honors teachers who are making a difference in the community. So young people can nominate, anyone can nominate, and we'll try to like track down those teachers, and then the person who, you know, the ones who get the most nominations. They track them down, and then their students actually present them with the award.
And when is that?
So that's November 21st. So it is after elections.
That's okay. That's good.
But those are
coming
engagement.
Up. Oh my gosh, Natalie, it was such a joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we've run a few minutes over, but you were well worth it. I hope people look into Hip Hop Congress in Auburn, California. Natalie Zapata. And we've got those events coming up. I hope Phil will put them up on the screen at the end of this. So I'm going to close for the day. It's a beautiful, beautiful time of year. It's exciting. And let's hope it's rewarding for the elections. And football, of course, can't go without football. So, in this day of remembrance, take care of each other, be smart, get to learn the ballots, the issues, the candidates, and vote. So, thank you, everybody.